Hey, good morning, Kyle. Thank you very much for having me here. So I want to introduce you. You are a financial advisor, and you are working with Integrity Financial Group, which is your own company.
Right.
And I would like you to tell me a little bit more about you, and then we can go into some interview questions regarding DISC and how you use it in your business.
Okay, sounds good. Well, I've been in the financial planning, financial services, and insurance business for about 5.5 years now. It's been a while. I run my own independent firm. Like you said, this is my deal. We're expanding, we're growing, building up a family. Basically, I try to treat people like family here, and we know everyone on a first name basis. So it's pretty good. It's how we like to do things.
Good. Thank you very much, for sharing. I can, definitely recommend you and your services because you have been assisting, me and other, clients with their life insurance services and helping them as well to cover up in any situation. So I would like to ask you a few questions about this because I know that you have been exposed to it. And first of all, let me know how it did happen. How did you become aware of DISC and how do you use it today?
Okay, so how did I become aware of DISC? I was actually first exposed to it when I took some sales training back when I was first starting. I had never been in a sales or marketing type job before. I didn't know what I was doing, so I got some training. And this thing called DISC popped up during the training, and it talked about different behavior styles and how people interact. And I said, there's something probably to this, but I didn't explore it that much. As time went by, I started hearing about DISC more and more, and I actually started using a business coach. This was years before I met you, and DISC popped up again, and that was a big part of the studies that we went through. And I started to realize, okay, this is popping up more and more. It's starting to make more and more sense, and I'm actually able to start applying these things to my interactions with people. So there's probably something here. So I've been a die-hard DISC advocate ever since. I think it's wonderful, and I think it works for anyone, no matter what type of business that you're in.
So what does that bring you to be aware of other people's styles, to be able to conduct business and to be successful today?
How does it help me?
Yes.
Gotcha. Well, it helps me in a lot of ways. At first it was more of a, okay, let me figure out how I'm wired. Okay, these things make perfect sense. Yes, that is how I think. Yes, that is how I run my meetings. And then I would start to see things about the other dominant behavior styles that said, well, wait a minute, that's a turnoff for that kind of person? Is that, and I'd ask somebody, it's like, hey, do you really dislike when someone does this? It's like, yeah, that's a turnoff. So these things never occurred to me until I saw them on a DISC evaluation. So in looking back and looking forward with my interactions with people on a daily basis, DISC really helps me to not only keep my own behavior style in check a little bit, in a little more balance, because I know I'm very outgoing. I'll go off on a tangent and just chit chat with somebody for half the meeting. I mean, I catch myself more these days than I used to, but it really gives me a framework to say, okay, this is how I'm wired. And then after interacting with someone for a while, I can usually detect, pinpoint, whatever you will, okay, this person probably leans more toward this behavior style. And then I can think back to my DISC training and say, okay, so I need to gear my meetings and gear my interactions with this person more toward this type of feel. And just having that bit of knowledge, because I'm by no means a master of DISC, I've just been exposed to it over and over, and I really find the value in it. Just knowing what little I do know about it, it gives me an opportunity to steer my appointments, to steer my meetings with people, and steer my interactions with people I might not know very well in a direction that's more effective to communicate. Because it's all about effective communication, and DISC allows you to do that very well, no matter where you're coming from.
Thank you so much, Kyle. So what would you say to someone that is struggling with communication, and how would you help them to move forward and to overcome the challenge?
someone's struggling with communication, I would tell them to book a session immediately and get a first exposure to DISC, because that will open your eyes in ways that I can't even describe right now. In the trainings, just you see the light bulbs going off all over the room in people's heads of, oh my gosh, I never would have thought of that before. So if you come from point A of wondering, I wonder why I'm struggling in my meetings and I wonder why nobody wants to do business with me, to point B of, oh, this person is this dominant behavior style and mine clashes with that, so I probably need to steer my meeting in a different direction with this person. It really allows you to develop a higher level of communication skill, and there's really no other way to say it. Without knowledge of behavior styles and DISC in particular, you just don't have that knowledge backing you up. You just don't. So my recommendation is to be exposed to DISC as soon as possible. It's the best thing you can do for yourself.
Okay, thank you so much, Kyle, and I wish you a wonderful day.
Thanks for coming.